This is Dr. Uzo Jeff coming back to you in the Powerhouse Deliverance telecast and ministrations. Today, we want to talk about a very important topic, which is a biggie. Sex in the Dream is the title of today's message. And I want you to pay attention attentively because I will start this teaching with a warning. The reason is that everything you read in the internet concerning the interpretation of dream is wrong. If it's not from a godly Christian perspective, you know that you are getting a misinformation and at best a wrong information. And when you apply it, you're going to be in trouble and your problem will not be solved. In fact, you complicate issue, complicate your problem, waste your time, waste your energy, and then you will not get results. Why? Because all the interpretation of dreams, most of them are not biblically based. It's not sound, it's not from God's perspective, and they will give you the wrong information. And when you have the wrong diagnosis, you will have the wrong treatment. And when you have the wrong treatment, you're not going to get well. It's going to become complicated, or the prognosis will be worse than you began. Now, look at this. Psychiatrists, psychologists, metaphysicians, psychics, dream or sleep physiologists, and even palm readers, psychics, interpret dreams, and they interpret it wrongly. They will tell you having sex in the dream is not a problem. It's a way of, dismissing or discharging tension, or it's a way of furthering your relationship or intimacy or covenant or union. And any interpretation they give you, and many of those wrong assertions and assumptions are not true. They will mislead you. If you are not a child of God and you are having sex in the dream and you want to get out, the best way to get out is to get born again and go through deliverance. And I don't do deliverance to people who are not saved, who do not belong to Jesus Christ. You cannot mess around with demons. It's not an entertainment movie. It's not a child's play. It's an adult game. It's a serious business. Now, let's dive back into the topic. Whenever there is sex in the dream, that means there is a union, there is an intercourse, there is a covenant, there is a communication, there is a linking, and there is a bond. And when there is a bond with the enemy in any way, shape, manner, or form, because sexual union is actually meant to consummate a marriage. It's not ordinary. Why did I say that? Because sex is meant for husband and wife who are legally married and are in covenant, not a contract. Now, if you understand the implication of sex, that every sin is outside the body, and then sex is the only sin, Apostle Paul told us, that is done inside the body through penetration. So anything that happens in the dream, even if it is with your real husband, is not that your husband. These are demons in disguise. Demons take any form, take any shape, take any fashion. They come in different ways. They come in different guises. They come in different camouflage. They come in different descriptions and types. So you have to be careful, because when there is attack, in fact, sex in the dream is a form of spiritual attack. We call them demonic rapists, incubus and succubus, or night rapists, or dream husband or dream wife. Sometimes they are also called the spirit of Ashmodi. Ashmodi is one of the principalities, whereas incubus and succubus can be familiar spirit or even witchcraft spirits projected from altar, witchcraft altar or shrine or oracle, or projected from the witchcraft coven. It can also happen through ancestral altar manipulation, transgenerational altars. Why? They can send this demon to a sleeping and unsuspecting human being to have sex with them. And anytime you have covenant or union with the devil or any of his in the form of evil spirits and demons, the person will go down. Covenant is a way of blessing God has designed, but the devil have perverted it, have used it, have distorted it, have used it to debase people, cause setback, cause denigration, make people unfit for God's blessing, pollute their life, cause demonic frustration, cause retardation, cause hindrances in progress and success, cause non-achievement, cause backwardness and delay, cause even veiling people's destiny, their greatness, covering their star, covering their progress in life. And remember that life is a journey, and that if you don't make progress, you derail. And if you are not growing, if you are not progressing, that means you are retracing or regressing, and at best the person is stagnating. Now I want to read somewhere in the Bible. I always start from the book of beginning, the book of Genesis, before we dive into the details of today's topic. I want to read Genesis chapter 6. You know, Genesis is the book of beginning, the origin. I'm reading from verse 1, and it says, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for he also is flesh, yet it shall be 120 years." Look at what is going on here. It then means that if you interpret this here in the old creation, before the Decalogue, angels were referred to as sons of God. In another form or another way, a fancy way of calling angels. So these were angels that are spirits per se. But it's not true that when a spirit manifests or shows up, that it cannot take a human form or physical form. Here, these angels transformed themselves into demonic beings and started having sex with women. The Bible said the women they chose were fair. If you look at King James translation, whenever you see the word fair woman, it's another way of saying that the woman is beautiful. It doesn't just mean that he has light skin. It means that they saw this woman, they were pretty, and they went in. See, let me tell you something about demons or fallen angels. Demons are spiritual beings, but they like to be carnal. Every carnal thing, they will want to have a piece of it. That's why in every case of demonic problem, harassment, embarrassment, issues, and complications, you discover that these demons will do a lot of physical, carnal things, even though they are spiritual beings. Spiritual truth is parallel. Everything God meant for us to help us, to advance us, to prosper us, to bless us, so to speak, the enemy made it for the contrary reasons. Made it to debase, to keep people in bondage, to keep them bound, to keep them in jail, to keep them stagnated, lack of progress, setbacks, stagnation, diversion, confusion, and attacks in every way, shape, manner, or form, which is spiritual rape, like we are talking about here in the sex. Now, when God created marriage, if you evaluate marriage, if we can explain, expand, and espouse the institution of marriage, it's a covenant. It's not a contract. Anytime you do anything outside marriage in terms of sexual relationship, you deviate. We call it perversion. It becomes contrary to what God intended, the original intention of the Lord, including things like masturbation, pornography, sex toys by women or men, marrying or having sexual relationship or intercourse outside marriage. These things open doors, including spirit of lust. Now, even if you live holy, But you have demon at the background, especially ancestral altars or transgenerational altars, or witchcraft program and projection, or witchcraft manipulation, or idols, or strong men, strong women, familiar spirit, ancestral spirit. According to Ephesians, you discover that the Bible says we do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against forces of darkness, of rulers of this world, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in high places. Now, these are spiritual wickedness, including principalities and power. The problem with sex in the dream is that every demon wants to have a piece of a physical person, of a physical place, a human being, entity. So, even if you're a woman and you dress anyhow, you dress in a nude fashion, the enemy enters. If you're a topless dancer, or if you are busy watching things that you don't have business watching with your eyes, what happens is that the enemy takes advantage. It becomes a legal ground or a loophole. The Bible says, whosoever breaketh the hedge, a serpent will bite. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if the person is a pastor. It doesn't matter if they are bishop or wife of bishop. It doesn't matter if they are evangelists. Those are descriptions and are titles. They are not functions. The enemy doesn't respect that in the spirit realm. They respect holiness. They respect your fire. They respect your purity. They respect you not deviating or breaking the hedge in any way, shape, manner, or form. Now, why sex in the dream is so dangerous is that it involves union and penetration. Now, you know that these are spiritual beings, entities. They are powers, or sometimes we call it forces. And the other time, in another video, I've talked about 27 types of spirit husband or spirit wives and their origin and where they came from and why. Now, let me give you a summary. 85% of them come from ancestral altars, ancestral spirits, or idols, or strange gods, or demigods, or wicked, evil forces or powers from your foundation, your father's house, your mother's house, or combination of those. And 85% of ancestral spirits are marine spirits. Then the other percentage can come from witchcraft projections, which are witchcraft altars, or even from demonic coven. Yes, witches do that. People can project out of their body, fly to another person that is sleeping at night or under cover of darkness, and then defy them, so that even if they are praying, nothing happens. Even if they are praying, God will not answer, because God actually is of purer eye than to behold iniquity. When there is pollution, when there is perversion, when there is demonic interference, intervention, or demonic siege or manipulation, evil always results. These are evil spirits. They create evil. So this is the reason why sex in the dream requires deliverance. Now, these angels gave birth to physical human beings called the giants, the Anakims, the Nephilims. If you read the book of Daniel, and then we come to the New Testament in the book of Jude, the same thing happened. Of course, in the book of Job, angels were referred to as sons of God too. Now, I'm telling you this because the same thing that happened in the natural also happened in the spiritual. Truth is parallel. Satan is a counterfeiter. Satan is an imitator. Satan is kind of copycat. He's a copyist. He sees everything and duplicates it. Anything God does for good to advance His children. Let me give you an example. God said we are the bride of Christ. A bride is a newly married woman, a woman about to get married. When we are called the bride of Christ, Christ is our husband. Christ is the bridegroom, and His church. Apostle Paul said, I speak mystery concerning Christ and His church. His church, you and I, children of God, are His bride. Christ is married to us. We are covenanted to Christ. That was why He died, bled, and then release his blood for our redemption. It's a covenant. He bought us with his precious blood. The good thing about Christ is that he's a perfect husband. He does not rape the bride. He does not mess up the bride. He does not defy the bride. Because of that, the enemy took the same picture to begin to defile Christians, young people who don't even know about sex, who are unsuspecting. And then sometimes they think it's normal, and they don't know it calls for deliverance, to dissociate them, to disconnect them, to divorce them, and dismantle this demon so that they can be free to fulfill destiny, so that they can be free to fulfill God's plan and purpose for their life, so that they could be free to progress, achieve success, and then marry their real husband. Because demons are wicked. Sometimes in deliverance, I ask them, said, if this is your wife and she belongs to you, you are married to her, why can't you marry a fellow demon? Why can't you marry a fellow evil spirit or evil force or entity? They don't answer that question. Then I begin to use the blood and the fire of the Holy Ghost. So you cannot do it alone, because it's an utter thing. They are overpowering. Before you know it, these spiritual rapists, these spiritual prostitutes, we call them spiritual prostitutes of incubus and succubus, have defied the person. And when you are defied, nothing works in your life. Let's look at that real quickly in the scripture, if you don't mind, child of God. I want to read for 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. It says, having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God. In other words, there's defilement here. Having sex in the dream is another thing we call dream pollution. When there is pollution, the person is messed up spiritually speaking, because life is spiritual. And when things happen that way, the person's glory is under attack. The glory is defiled. The greatness is in question. The stars are being veiled, and a lot of things go wrong. Things will begin to cause trouble, delays. You begin to experience all kinds of problems, accident prone, difficulty in relationship. Even if you are married, it doesn't matter. This demon doesn't respect marriage. It doesn't respect God. It doesn't respect people. It doesn't respect children. They don't respect even ministers of the gospel, including bishops. Some bishops who criticize deliverance when their wife have problem, or even they themselves have problem, they don't even know what to do. They don't even know what to turn to, because they've criticized the deliverance ministry. They've looked for solution, they have not gotten it. So here, there's pollution or defilement of both the flesh and the spirit of man. And when there's defilement of flesh and spirit, things go wrong. So child of God, I want to tell us here, sometimes it's called wet dreams. Sometimes it's called dream husband, dream wife. And the book of Jude called it filthy dreamers. So you need deliverance. You need total divorce from this demon. Otherwise, progress will not be achieved. You need to disconnect this demon, fire them with the fire of the Holy Ghost, bring the covenant of the blood of Jesus to the scene, disconnect them from your dream life, from your dream space, from your dream environment, remove them so that they won't pollute your glory, so that you can be restored, you can be renewed, so they can fulfill God's plan and purpose and destiny for your life, including restoring your marriage harmony. A lot of women, some of them don't even have affection for their wife. They hate their husband. They hate to hear the voice of their husband. There's constant quarreling, fighting, quarreling, bickering, misunderstanding for little things. There's demonic anger. These things are real. Don't let any pastor deceive you that, it's imagination or hallucination, that you get over it. That's not true. So call us. We are here for you. We want to do physical deliverance, and stop running around to pastors who don't have solution for your problem. There are people who are anointed to deal with this demon, disconnect them, dismantle them, destroy them, divorce them from your life, and then totally annihilate them so that you can be free to fulfill destiny. Talk to you next time. This is Dr. Uzo. Come to us. We have deliverance ministration in 3565 Foster Road, Marietta, Georgia. 30008. And then we do deliverance every Wednesday, 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. Thank you. Talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye.